Welcome once again to the world's greatest podcasts, and that's not up for debate. Welcome to Group Chat After Dark. Here we are once again, Michael. How the hell are you?
I'm good. I'm good. So
You
far,
look great.
we put out more episodes than the Steve Austin show this year. So, I think we're coming for the top.
That's saying something because we only do one show a month.
He's put out 0 shows this year, so we're beating
There
him.
you go. We even take a month off. We don't even do 12 shows. We skip June because we can't ever get our shit together.
Well, there has to be an off season.
Yes, that's true. It gives the people a chance to miss us, and lets us recoup.
It's like watching the Super Bowl. You know you're going to be out with football for like 2 weeks, and then more football will be back. Yeah,
that's exactly what I was thinking. Sports.
Yeah.
Sports. So, Michael, I have a question for you. We are the Christmas season, the holiday season. There's many celebrations going on right now. If I had a lot of dirty dishes in the next few days, do you have a product you could recommend to me to help me ease my worries when it comes to the dirty dishes?
Yeah, I do actually. There's this stuff that works really well for that purpose. It's actually Cascade pods. So you can use Cascade pods in your dishwasher, and many old people on the commercials use them every night, and they do it every night. I'm just kidding. The real product that you should be using is the Scrub Daddy and Scrub Mommy if you're in for a gentler touch. But Scrub Daddy and Scrub Mommy bring the cleaning power that you need. You don't even have to use soap. You can just stick some water on there and scrub to your heart's content. You can even gag the mouth of the Scrub Daddy with a spoon if you're into that kind of thing.
You sure can, right here on the box.
Just shove it way in there as far as it'll go.
Just get it in there. That's premium content you can only see if you watch the podcast, is the Scrub Daddy and the Scrub Mommy being gagged by spoons. If you're just listening, well, you're missing out.
You are missing out.
I showed you both. You got to see both right here on the podcast, on the video version.
Just getting in there deep between the lips of the Scrub Daddy, just deep inside.
Well, so you were telling me recently.
Check out Scrub Daddy.
You were telling me recently about a new product from Scrub Daddy. Something to go along with my sponges. You sent me a TikTok the other night.
I did, yeah. I believe that's a gag product.
Really?
Yes, because it resembles the word, I believe, shit.
See, I did not listen to it with audio, so I must have missed the jokes. I was like, oh, look at that, a new Scrub Daddy product.
So in case you're not hip to the TikTok like Beaver here, they like to play with the narrating voice person and make it say things that are absolutely filthy, like shake your ass for deals at Kohl's, and stuff like that. I think Scrub Daddy was jumping on that bandwagon. So they put out a gag video around some kind of paste or something. And it seems to be making the rounds. But it was pretty funny and capitalized on the hysteria surrounding the TikTok narration lady.
So what you're saying is I should not have ordered the case of them and sent money to them.
Yeah, that's probably, somebody in Nigeria has your credit card now.
Okay, that's good. I'm going to have to cut this episode short because I need to go recover my financials.
Yes, you should definitely put a freeze on your credit.
Yes, that's a good idea.
I think the best touch of this episode so far is the fact that you don't have an E on your sign there, so you just made a backwards 3.
The craziest part about this thing is that there's 2 of every letter except E. Which I feel like there should be at least 4 of those. Like there's some letters
Jeopardy.
Yeah, you need more. So there's only 1 E in the entire box of these little letters here.
Not Jeopardy. Yeah. I'm thinking of Wheel of Fortune. I think.
Yeah, I knew what you meant, but I wasn't.
Yeah, they go together.
They go together.
Well, the internet does not care about my feelings apparently, and will just completely.
True. Well, if you do a little research, that would really help.
This
I think
whole
people would be more
podcast,
sympathetic if you actually knew what the fuck you were talking about ever, instead of just going out on wild limbs.
that's what makes this entertainment. Okay, it's
True.
entertainment. We're making movies. Okay,
Lots of prep work goes into this podcast. Lots.
so much, so much. It's the best prep show on the internet, actually.
Guaranteed.
We have an entire stack of research that we can share with you throughout the months and months that we've done this podcast, and the
Yes.
days and days that we've put into preparing the topic before we talk about it.
Days. Literally. Definitely not something we decide on right before we hit record.
Never, never.
Never. Sometimes
So,
not.
yeah, it's true. It's true. So I don't know about you, but apparently we are in the polar vortex,
Yes.
and it is about 3 degrees outside my window right now.
It's 7 here, so we're in a bit of a heat wave compared to you.
Oh, I'm sorry. It is 9. So
Oh, okay. So
yes,
yeah, you got us
it
beat.
is 9. Yeah. So yeah, that'll be a lot of fun to deal with next couple of
Yes.
days. So,
I had to go out
so
earlier. I would not recommend it.
does your dog go use the bathroom?
She does actually. She runs hot, so this is not bad for her.
Nice. Yeah. I bet many dogs will be protesting and pooping in the house in the next couple of days.
She does not spend nearly as long outside as she does normally. She comes scratching at the door pretty quick, but she will go outside and take care of her business.
Nice.
Yes.
So we're gonna deal with that, but this podcast is full of fresh, hot, warm content for you
Yeah.
to keep you warm through the polar vortex.
Stay inside, listen to our wonderful voices,
Just
or
sit by the
watch.
fire. Yeah, if you watch, you get premium S&M content about the Scrub Daddy.
Yes, yes, you do. Like pure 80s, right out of the 80s, gag me with a spoon content. You get that right here on YouTube.
Yeah, don't
We
ban
are
us in
not
Germany.
sponsored by YouTube.
Don't ban us in Germany. We already have enough
Yeah.
trouble there.
Yeah, we get a lot of, we're banned in Germany pretty frequently. Should we do any more ad reads? Because I know a lot of our listeners get pissed off that they'll be X number of minutes into the show and we haven't actually started talking about the topic yet.
Yeah, I think we should do an ad read for the number one product in Christmas candy, the Reese's Peanut Butter Tree. Not to be confused with the far superior Reese's Peanut Butter Egg.
The egg
However,
is the king.
Yes. Yeah. However, the peanut butter tree is a close second,
Does-
followed by the far inferior Reese's Halloween pumpkin.
Does the tree look like a turd to you?
Yes, every
Okay.
time I see it, it looks like a dog turd. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Every time they see it, especially right now, you see it advertised a lot. To see the little trees, I'm like, it just looks like poop. It does not really look like a tree to me at all. The egg, hey, that makes sense. That's not hard to do. A tree, there's too much detail missing there that it just looks like poop.
I don't understand why the shapes taste different than the actual cup. Like theoretically it's the same thing.
Supposedly there are different formulations. Somebody was filling me in on this once because I swear the eggs are better than anything like that. I like a Reese cup, but a Reese's peanut butter egg, it's so much better. And
100%.
apparently there's slight variations to the mixture depending on the shape. Now I don't have any concrete evidence.
It's like McDonald's Coke versus other Coke. Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Yeah. Yeah. You've never had a McDonald's Coke?
I mean, probably, but I didn't know it was different than just like what you buy off the shelf.
Yeah, they have this like special formulation. I've heard different stories. So one story is the McDonald's Coke, it flows through a metal tube or a metal line the whole time, so it stays cold the whole way to your cup. Mm-hmm. And that apparently makes it taste better. The other thing I've heard is that the McDonald's formulation is made specifically for the amount of ice that they put in the cup. And so it's a different mix. Yeah.
Interesting. Well,
yeah.
there you go.
Check it out. And then thinking about Reese's peanut butter trees, maybe think about another product that this show should be sponsored by, probably, because I feel like I've eaten too many of them. But the Christmas tree cake from Little Debbie.
Oh yes, yes.
They're back. They're a seasonal item. They're back right now.
Back. Where'd you get those? Dollar General?
Nice. Yeah. And they are a cult favorite of fat guys everywhere.
Yes. Yes, the Little Debbie Christmas
I watched a TikTok this morning of this girl taking Christmas tree cakes mushing them up into mush and then making them into a cake pop. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, get out there and try
Yeah.
the Christmas tree cake from Little Debbie. It'll cost you all of 75 cents at the local gas station when you're getting your lottery ticket.
Or you can get a box of them at the Dollar Tree, the Dollar General.
for $1.25, not a dollar. It's not a dollar
Dollar
anymore.
General things cost more than $1.
Oh, it's generally a dollar. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
What
Dollar
about the
General,
general?
that's the high price stuff compared to the Dollar Tree, which I believe now is $1.25.
Yeah, yeah.
All
Well,
right. Well, do you have any other things you want to plug before we get into the show, just to really stick it to some
no.
listeners that
Christmas is a season for heathens, and it is a commercial holiday made up for profit for corporations. So, as you're celebrating this holiday season, think about how much money you're lining the pockets of millionaires with.
And if you couldn't tell, again, if you watch the podcast, this will make very much sense to you. You see right over Michael's shoulder is none other than the Grinch. So you see why he's going to say things like that, because he is very Grinchy and
The
he
Grinch is
hates
trademarked,
Christmas.
but Christmas is garbage, and the Who's in Whoville should have lit on fire when the Grinch came to steal their Christmas. He didn't finish the
Wow.
job.
So you weren't satisfied that he just stole Christmas. You wished he would have massacred the entire town.
Yes, just like General Sherman, just go through it and just do it.
Okay. This is taking a turn. I feel like we are now losing listeners. The 4 listeners we have, we've already lost 2 of them.
Yeah, well, good riddance, I say.
Well, I'm sorry that you feel that way, but I'm glad that you did not, out of protest, sit this show out, because it wouldn't be the same
I'm a team
without you.
player.
I've had to do it without you once, and it was not
It's
the
true.
same. So
Yeah, I'm a team player, you know. But I think speaking of listeners leaving the show, that kind of takes us to our topic today. What are we talking about today?
well, I don't know exactly what we're going to call this episode yet, but there seems to be a lot of news lately about people just whatever ship they're on,
Yeah,
they're leaving it. They're jumping ship.
getting the boot. Yeah,
They're going. They're taking off. They're out of here. We got a lot of celebrities leaving their shows and film franchises. Elon Musk is leaving, his new toy supposedly.
he's trying
so
to.
just
Yeah,
it seems like a lot of news in the last couple weeks has just been about so and so leaving something.
it's
So
true.
I thought, since we are all collectively leaving 2022 behind shortly,
There you go.
I thought, you know what, that'd probably be a good topic to just, and like I say, I don't know the title of the episode yet, but we're going to be talking about people leaving stuff that they are known for. So I feel like probably the biggest in the news is Elon Musk and his Twitter poll. So I figured we could
Yes,
probably talk about Elon first. Did you vote in the poll?
I did not. I deleted my Twitter account the day after Elon Musk took control, so I no longer
Okay.
have Twitter.
Okay, there you go. Because I have Twitter, but even before Elon Musk took over, I have not been a very active Twitter user for several years now. But
Yeah,
I've got the article pulled up here, and on December 18th, he posted this poll: should I step down as the head of Twitter? I will abide by the results of the poll. The poll got 17,502,391 votes, which is pretty spectacular turnout,
it's a
I
lot of
think.
votes. Yeah,
And 57.5% of that 17.5 million voted yes, that he should step down.
wow,
So
wow.
more than half, which is a lot. And then he responded on the 20th and said, I will resign as CEO as soon as I find someone foolish enough to take the job. After that, I will just run the software and servers teams. So supposedly, Elon is actually out, because a lot of people have questioned his. They've been very vocal about their dislike of his new policies and
Yes,
like overhauling the verification.
he's done a lot of things, and I
Yeah,
think it was all in an effort because technically, if you look at the financials of Twitter, they were never ever going to make money.
yeah,
So they didn't have enough ad revenue to keep the platform open and all the employees paid and all that good stuff. Even if everything did the max of what it could do, it was still going to
yeah.
lose money. And Elon Musk bought it and thought he could turn it into a money-making enterprise by hemorrhaging staff and basically letting the internet eat itself and turn into a wild, wild west
Because
by
wasn't his
taking
big
all controls out. Yeah.
wasn't his big thing he wanted to go because there was big debate over accounts being banned and things like that, limiting free speech. That was
Yeah.
his kind of platform was, you can't do that. I'm going to buy Twitter and fix that. You can't,
Yeah.
you have to let Twitter be free
His
speech.
take was that he is a free speech absolutist. However, it turned out that he is not. Basically, there was an account that tracked his plane, because that is public domain. You can track any tail number in the country outside of the military. And some college student was tracking it around. And Elon Musk didn't like that because it was, he felt like it was an invasion of privacy and didn't need to be done. So he banned that guy from Twitter. So, I don't think he's that into free speech. But he let Donald Trump back in.
He did. He did reactivate his account. And something that really threw me the other day was I saw a news story. This was just last week or maybe earlier this week. Twitter is now going to have a policy where you can't link to any other social media site.
He wanted to do that. I think it got shot down.
Did it get shut? Because I was like, that doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah.
Because it was, the article I was reading said that they were looking to ban accounts that were just for promoting other social media. Like if you were a YouTuber and you had a Twitter to promote your YouTube, then you were going to be banned because you violated the policy. I was like,
that's right.
I'm pretty sure that's what like 99.9% of the Twitter accounts are, is to promote something else.
Yeah, and then they also embed tweets on other websites to then redirect you to Twitter. So it's like, what's the point?
And ultimately, I believe in this article, it said that unless you paid for the promotion of said account or product, then you could do it, which again, to your point, to try and make it more profitable. But I think if that was the case, you'd lose a lot of the user base, because I feel like that's what most people do, is promote other things from their Twitter. So I don't know.
No, we experienced that when the GoPro retweeted our video. So that seems pretty stupid, but Elon Musk, I have many, many feelings on Elon Musk that I don't want to put on the internet, so we'll leave it at it's interesting to see. I think it's interesting that if that was a presidential election and somebody got 57% of the vote, that's a trouncing. So it'll be interesting to see what he says, but
especially with that much of a turnout. I don't know how many active users are on Twitter, but to have 17.5 million results on a Twitter poll, I feel like that's pretty good.
We'll see if he actually does step down. I have a strong feeling he won't.
A lot of people think that it's, they're like, he's really not going to step down. But I mean, ultimately, even if he does step down as CEO, he still owns it. He's still going to have a lot of influence over what it does. It's just he's not going to be the quote face of.
As he calls himself, the chief twit.
Which makes sense. But anyway, it's just interesting. And we'll see as that goes on, because he said he didn't give any, time frame. He just said, as soon as I find someone, so he could be looking for years to get somebody that he deems worthy to be the CEO. But it'll be interesting to see. I think a lot of people are expecting it to be soon, but I wouldn't.
He took a lot of his old PayPal practices that they used to do like in the early 2000s and tried to bring them over to Twitter, and a lot of people were not happy. Forcing everybody back in the office, having them sleep under their desks and stuff like that is kind of crazy. But will be interesting to see what he does.
Yeah, we'll see. It's the people have spoken, the twits have spoken, and we'll see if he actually does step down or not. But enough about Elon. We've talked enough about Elon. The next guy who's leaving something very near and dear to your heart, I know he is, Henry Cavill. You love Henry Cavill.
To be honest with you, I did not even know who Henry Cavill was until we decided to make this episode.
Really?
So, I heard about it in the news and I was like, oh, that's weird. That's another guy leaving the Superman franchise. I guess it's just like Spider-Man. But Apparently, there's only been what 3 Supermans in the movie.
Uh,
Um,
that I'm not certain of. I know that, Christopher Reeves was like the first cinematic Superman. Um,
and then
I
they had
forget the
one with this guy named Brandon Routh.
Brandon Routh. I could not remember his name, but yeah, Brandon
Yeah,
Routh. He did a couple Superman movies, I think, and then yeah. So maybe I guess as far as cinematically, there's been plenty of other Supermen on TV and things,
yeah.
but
Clark or
yeah,
what's his
the
face? Dean Cain.
Dean Cain, yeah. So Henry Cavill, I don't know, and I'm not a huge Superman guy, so I don't have my due diligence done on how many Superman movies he did or how many movies he was in as Superman. But
Yeah.
he was kind of the new guy. Like he was going to be the Superman. And now, of course, because of Marvel with their whole cinematic universe thing, DC is like, well, we got to do that too, which you really don't. And apparently they've made a real big mess of theirs. They're not. What people I think fail to understand is Marvel did this with the intention of doing it over many, many years. They made like
Yeah.
10 years worth of movies to lead up to this. And now DC, Warner Brothers owns DC, and they're like, we got to do this in like
Oh.
less than half the time, or less than we got to do it in like a year. They want their own cinematic because it's such a money maker for Marvel and
So they were
Disney.
going for like an Avengers style deal, and it's now
Exactly.
it's like, oh,
Yeah.
we got to grab that money while it's out there.
I forget how many films went into before the Avengers. You kind of each superhero got their own little
Yeah, it was like
introduction.
7, I think 6 or
It, it,
7.
it
Yeah.
was it was several, and so they all kind of, and then they come together as the Avengers. And I think for DC they did like 2, maybe 3 movies, and then they're like, okay, they're the Justice League now. They did like a Superman movie, a Batman movie, and a Wonder Woman, and like, okay, now it's time. We've
Yeah.
done that. And to reboot, and they've reboot like Ben Affleck was Batman for a while, and then he's like, I'm out. And so anyway, all this to say, Henry Cavill had been the new guy. He stepped away and was like, okay, this is not, I'm done with this. And famously, I don't know if you recall, I think it was the Justice League movie. Um, they had to do a bunch of reshoots, and he'd grown a mustache for another movie. Um, and he contractually couldn't shave his mustache for the reshoots. So then
Wow.
they had to shoot all this other footage of Superman with a mustache, and then they went in and digitally took it out. It looked so bad. Like, I mean, it looked like if you do like a Snapchat filter and it takes your beard off,
Yeah.
that's what it looked
Yeah.
like. So anyway, that whole thing, and I think that was kind of the end for him. He's like, okay, I'm done being Superman. He goes on to other things. Well, The Rock comes in as Black Adam, and it gets this big fanfare and big budget that this is going to save the DC cinematic
Yeah.
universe. And uh, The Rock apparently has some hand in getting Henry Cavill back as Superman. He's like, no, we have to have this face off of Black Adam and Superman, and The Rock really wanted Henry Cavill, and they're friendly enough that and so let's see, it says this article I've got here from Hollywood Reporter. On October 24th, Superman, or what's his name, Henry Cavill released a video saying that yeah, he wanted to make it official. He'll be back as Superman.
Nice.
Well, now James Gunn is coming in to direct a bunch of these DC movies because they need to turn the ship around. They're not liking their return on them. They're not liking, because Black Adam apparently was a decent movie, but not enough people cared to go see it. And they need
Yeah.
to. They want to right the ship here on this cinematic universe thing. So they're bringing in James Gunn, who's done a lot of the Marvel films. Like I think he did Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff, and people really like his work.
Yeah.
So like, okay, this is the guy. We'll get one of Marvel's guys to come over here and do a better job for us. Well, apparently he's not so interested in a lot of the plans that were laid. So he's like, yeah, we're going to kind of redo. So like Black Adam, The Rock is out. So he's on
Yeah.
theme with our show this month.
Now, apparently,
Rock,
it took
yeah.
The Rock a really long time to get that movie made. So
Yeah, apparently he's trying to make this movie for a long time, and it just didn't go the way it should have. The box office was not what they wanted. And now they're saying, The Rock released a statement saying that he and James Gunn connected, and Black Adam will not be in their first chapter of storytelling. Now, I don't know what the plan is. I'm sure that's tightly under wraps, but basically everybody's like, well, The Rock's out.
Yeah.
Because maybe by the time they get around to a Black Adam movie, The Rock's going to be too old,
True. Yeah.
which I think is what they're also saying with Superman, because almost 2 months after he announced he's back as Superman, he then had to say, I will, after all, not be returning as Superman when he put on Instagram on December 14th. So not that long ago, he had to announce, I'm not going to be Superman. And
Wow.
it looks like they want to put somebody younger in the role of Superman. So The Rock and Superman, or The Rock and what's his dick?
Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill, they're gone. And I don't really think it was their choice. Maybe it was for what's his face, Cavill, because, well, no, maybe not. I think he quit, like his Netflix show.
It came back, yeah, and then got
to be
fired.
Superman, and then they're like, yeah, it turns out that's not going to happen. So he kind of lost two jobs without really. I mean, one was his choice to go do the other. They're like, yeah, never mind. So that's cool. And then The Rock, he sounds disappointed. I mean, maybe not. The article, that I've got up pulled here, he puts a spin on it because he's a pro. He's not gonna express his disdain for anybody, but it sounds like he's out. So you got two superheroes that are just gone because we got to redo this whole thing.
I think it's the depth of the universe. Like, do I know the origin story of Black Adam? No, I don't. I only know Batman and Superman, little Wonder Woman, and then I guess technically, no, Spider-Man's not in the Justice League.
No, so that's where
he's his own thing. Yeah.
No, Spider-Man is Marvel.
Oh, damn it.
And so DC is like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and then Marvel is like Spider-Man, Iron Man,
Captain America.
Like so that's where, and only certain people will really know that.
Yeah. Right.
To most people, superheroes are superheroes, but that's the Marvel side of things has been going well as far as their money making, and the DC side is not. But they basically just want to cash in on the cinematic universe trend, because now everything is a cinematic. Warner Brothers has their own cinematic universe. Everything kind of has it's all connected when it used to be all standalone stuff. But everything now has to be connected to any other IP that you own because of Marvel's success and money that they made with this whole venture. So it's interesting. If you hate cinematic universes, you can blame Marvel. But it's been popular for them, and now everybody wants in on it. So all that to say,
do all of these like Captain America movies, like the Jack Nicholson Batman and the George Clooney nipple Batman suit, like they don't go in the they're not in the universe, right?
It's hard to say, because I guess originally you would say no, but Marvel did a Spider-Man movie recently where, before all the cinematic universe stuff started, they brought back Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield as they had played Spider-Man in two different franchises, or well, two different iterations of
Spider-Man. Forwards
Spider-Man.
and flash backwards.
Yeah. So the new Tom Holland Spider-Man, there's a multiverse within the Spider-Man world that brings back the other Spider-Man. So the answer to that is nobody knows, because it could all come back. And I think they've even done I think Michael Keaton came back as Batman in one of their TV shows.
Oh, wow.
Something like that.
I think he did a voice.
I feel like he was like old man Bruce Wayne in some.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know, because I don't know enough about their whole thing. But I believe he did. It's either it's already happened or it's has yet to air, or whatever it is. But yeah, he was. So there's always the possibility of a former superhero actor coming into these new, these new franchises and movies and everything. So the answer is nobody knows. As long as somebody's still alive, it's a possibility that they'll show up. And sometimes,
as long as
maybe
you
if
give
they're
money.
dead,
yeah,
they could be a hologram.
Yeah, like Tupac.
So
and Michael Jackson.
So yeah, then we got two more out, and
I feel like if you cast The Rock in a movie and then you get pissed off that he plays The Rock, that's your own fault.
And I don't even, because I haven't seen this movie. I I've heard that it was good. I've heard that it wasn't good. I'll have to see it for myself. But I guess essentially he was the perfect guy for it. But it just ultimately came down to not enough people saw it.
Yeah.
It
I
did
haven't
not
seen it
do the
either.
numbers. Yeah, it did not do the numbers they wanted it to do, and it seems like that was like the last straw to okay, now we got to start everything all over again. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I think it's a bad idea to chase something just because it was successful for somebody else.
Yeah.
But especially when you got because now there's Robert Pattinson as Batman. Is he Batman anymore, or are those
Right.
standalone? Because there's also like Joaquin Phoenix was the Joker and
Joker. Yeah.
Joker, but that doesn't have anything to do with like a Batman
Yeah.
movie. Like
And now
they
they're
all
making
kind of
the new one. Yeah.
they fragmented. Yeah, so it's like there's all these kind of weird. I think it's too much to try
And
and
Harley Quinn's out there somewhere. Yeah.
yeah. They just need to kind of keep going and do something else. I think rather than okay, now we're going to do a universe because at this point the Marvel thing, I think people are tired of it. It was cool that like 10 years worth of movies led up to one movie, and then it's like okay, well, what now?
Yeah.
Now we're bored. And plus, once you make so many superhero movies, people are gonna move on. Like it's been a
Yeah.
trend for like 15 years now. But
Yeah.
at some point, like cowboys and space movies, it's that we got to have some new content. So anyway, it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But those guys are gone. They've jumped ship as well, whether they wanted to or not. It seems like they got thrown off the ship. But
Yeah. Yeah.
two more
Especially in the case
exits.
of The Rock. I think
Yeah, yeah,
he got the axe pretty hard.
yeah. And going from the big screen to the small screen, I know somebody that you love because you love watching Saturday Night Live.
I do love Saturday Night Live. I
Yeah,
watch it
you do.
every week live.
Yeah, you do. You're always so excited to watch Saturday Night Live. If you
No,
can't if you don't watch the podcast, he's shaking his head because he does not care
I do
for that.
not regularly watch Saturday Night Live.
Well, another big exit took place just last week. It was Cecily Strong, who has been on Saturday Night Live since I don't remember how, but for 11 seasons. So I don't remember how
Wow.
long. Yeah, 11 seasons. She's like, I'm out of here. That's it. And
They've had a lot of people leave recently. Kate McKinnon and A.D. Bryant left
is
into
Mike?
last season.
Am I wrong? Is Michael Che also leaving?
No, he is staying.
Okay, he's staying. For some reason, I thought it said he was leaving a while
I think
back,
he's
maybe
staying.
at the end of a season or something. But I could be wrong.
Yeah. So yeah, she's been on there 11 seasons. She does a lot of their musical numbers because I think she has a theater background and can sing a little bit.
She does sing.
Um,
I have only seen one episode of Saturday Night Live in the last I forget how long, and it was this past week when it was her last show. Watched it with my in-laws actually at their place. They had it recorded because we're not staying up to watch Saturday Night Live. We're way too old for that. We watched it the day after, and she did several singing numbers, and it
yeah.
actually seemed like a lot of the show was kind of tailor made for her. They
Apparently, according to the internet, they did not announce it until like just before the
mhm,
show started. That was her last show, so not a lot of
yeah,
people knew.
yeah,
And I think they kind of did that as a surprise. But yeah, they brought up the guy from Elvis and they sang Blue Christmas.
yeah. He was the
Um,
host, and he seems like a nice guy, but it was one of those like a couple sketches in, it's like wow, you can really tell they don't know what to do with a host that's not really funny.
yeah,
Um,
I heard that. So apparently Elvis was an extremely method role for that guy, Austin
mhm,
Butler, I think is his name.
yes.
And he had to get like real deep in the character to get the role. And I've heard it's like screwed him up for the rest of his career,
Uh,
probably. Like he can only do Elvis now.
no, you never
It's
know.
kind of like
Method is
my Borat impression
yes,
has
all your
destroyed
impressions
my
of Borat.
ability
Yeah.
to do other impressions. Yeah.
Well, yeah, she is out. They came out and did big send off stuff, sang her a big song under like a few of the sketches seemed really low effort. Like the last sketch was Keenan Thompson, who's been on the show since I think it started. Um, way back in the 70s. Keenan was there even before he was born. Um, they're at Radio
He's a
Shack,
featured
and
player.
they're having a meeting, and they're talking about working at Radio Shack when it's very obvious that Radio Shack is just a veiled reference to Saturday Night Live, because they're all
Ah,
dressed as Radio Shack employees except for Cecily Strong, who's standing there in a very lovely dress. And
nice.
it's her last day, and so the whole thing was basically just an excuse to say how much she meant to them, and then they bring out what's his face, Elvis,
Elvis. Yeah.
to sing Blue Christmas with her. They sing along, and that's kind of the end of the show. Which it was different because it used to be when somebody left Saturday Night Live, they're like, fuck them, like we, whatever. And now there's all these big announcements that they'll leave. There'll be a big send off show for them and stuff. When it used to just
Unless
be,
you were
oh,
Phil
that guy's,
Hartman.
yeah, well, that's sad. Thanks for bumming me out. But
Well, I have a fun fact about Keenan.
yeah,
He is the only remaining SNL cast member to have done a sketch with Chris Farley.
that's true because it wasn't on
It
Saturday
was
Night
not on
Live. But
Saturday Night Live.
yeah, that
Yeah,
is
it was
true.
on All That. It was an
All
episode of
That.
Cooking with Randy.
Yes, I will put it in the show notes, as it was after Chris Farley had been fired from Saturday Night Live.
For doing drugs.
All right, now I've made a note to put it in the notes. But yes, that's true. That is a fun fact. Because I've got to look it up now because I don't know how long Keenan has been on. How long has
It's a long time.
been on SNL? 19 years.
Holy cow.
There's no way.
So 2002, 2003, he started.
Well, it doesn't say right here, but yeah, they've got him as 19 years. I mean, which is
Wow.
amazing. I would joke and say it was that long, but apparently 2003,
Wow.
and he was 25 years old when he started. So anyway, that's pretty impressive. 11 seasons is a lot. 19
I'm
years
just glad
is
that
unheard
Kel
of.
finally made an appearance on an episode
Yes.
and then he was murdered.
Well, that was pretty funny though, because he has not changed a bit as far as
No,
he looks the same, he sounds the same, and his acting is like
the
he never
same. Yeah.
stopped playing that character.
Yeah.
So that was pretty entertaining as well. I'll have to put that in the show notes too.
My favorite Kel Mitchell character of all time is Repairman Man.
Yeah.
That's his best character. Everybody likes Ed from Good Burger, but Repairman Man is much better.
Well, I have to say, in watching Saturday Night Live, like start to finish for the first time in I don't know how many years, since certainly the late '90s, I'm surprised by how much of Saturday Night Live is not actually live. So much of it
Yeah,
is the I don't know if they call them digital shorts anymore or not, but it's like
yeah. I was gonna
it's
say
all
that started with the Lonely Island guys.
right,
Yeah,
right.
so Sandberg and those guys
Mhm.
started that trend, and
Yeah.
it kind of has grown over time.
Which I get
But
it. I
yeah,
mean, you do have to evolve. There's only so much you can do if everything done on the stage in front of a live audience looks very low budget because it's
it
essentially a
is.
play. I mean,
Yeah,
you can't do special effects and you can't do big budget. You can't have a certain look. And so you're kind of limited in what you can and can't do. So I get it, but it definitely seems like okay, we have 3 sketches and 14 videos that we're going to play. So my wife even commented at one point. She goes, "Does this audio sound like echoey to you?" And I was like, "Well, it's because they're showing this live to an audience full of people, and you have to get that laugh track with the people reacting to it. So you're hearing it on the TV and the piped in from the studio. So it's like it is a little echoey, but I don't think I would want to go to Saturday Night Live as a spectator and then watch a big TV screen for more than half of the show. But
I know
call
this.
me
I
old
know
school.
somebody that went. I know somebody that went to a taping of an episode, and she said it was actually pretty good. It's the audience is way smaller than you would have
Yeah,
expected.
yeah.
It's like maybe 30 people in that room.
Oh, there's got to be more than that.
No, that's what she said.
Well, she's a liar, so.
Well, you know what? Maybe so. But anyway, the Michael Bolton digital short with the Lonely Island guys is one of the funniest things in the history of SNL.
Got another one.
You should watch it. It's
Oh.
about Michael Bolton is a cinephile and he's obsessed with Captain Jack Sparrow.
Huh. Okay. I'll have to
Yeah.
check that out.
Check it out.
Well, I believe that covers all the marquee people
Well,
leaving.
let me ask you this. What is the worst exit in the history of entertainment? What's the worst? This person leaves the show.
You mean as far as like the reason for them, like in the terms of their story, or like just the big?
I want to say
big
like the
blow
quality
off
of the
being-
show was like severely impacted when they left.
Oh, wow. There's far too many to list, but to me, and you know very well that I'm a huge fan of The Office.
Yes.
To me, when Steve Carell left The Office, it just,
That should have been the last episode, and it
I
wasn't.
think the last episode should have been Pam and Jim's wedding.
Oh, wow.
Because, I mean, there were some good moments after that, but especially for those characters, which was such a big part of why people watched the show, was they couldn't be together. And then they get together and then they get married. And there's really only a few places you can go after that. Have kids, and then it's humor about kids, and then, and maybe try and split them up, but nobody wanted to see that. So it's a death toll when they get two characters together and get them married, because there's only so many places you can go.
That's very true.
But
yeah,
to
they
me,
definitely suffered from the American television curse at that point.
Yeah,
like
way too many episodes, way too many seasons. But yeah, once Steve Carell left, I'm like, there's no. And I often tell people he is the reason. It's his fault that The Office got so bad, because at the beginning you didn't like him.
Yeah,
He was really cringy, and there weren't any really redeeming qualities about it. And then as they go on, as the show goes on, they really endear you to him, and he goes from a guy that you're like, oh, I can't stand to watch him, to be like, you really root for him and you want him to be happy, and
which I haven't watched much, but the British Office, it stays that way the whole time. Right?
That did not happen with Ricky Gervais's character,
David Brent.
David Brent. He just stayed cringy, but yeah, they turn you, they flip you from not liking Michael to loving Michael. So then when he left, it's like, well, what do we do now? And then their answer was add like 40 more characters and just keep the train going. And it just, there were some moments, there were some things that was like, okay, that was funny, but there was never just an episode that was like, oh, this one's so good. And even leading up to his exit, it was done. The show had run its course. There were some good moments, but there weren't episodes, towards the last couple seasons he was there, where it's like, you got to watch this one. Anyway, to me, that's probably the death of the show, even though it went on for 2 more seasons, I think, after that. But so that would probably be, but I'm going to go with that as the worst exit in my mind. How about you?
No, I think that one's up there. The other one that's up there for me is Eric Foreman, aka Topher Grace, leaving that 70s show. And I think it's so jarring because I didn't really like that 70s show was on TV when I was pretty young, so I really wasn't watching it. But then you realize that this is something that TV shows don't do a whole lot of anymore. But they try to replace Eric Foreman with this other guy. I don't even remember the guy's name. Randy something.
Randy, yeah. And it was it Seth Meyers, or was it his brother?
His brother Josh. Yeah,
Josh
that's
Myers,
right.
That's right. Yeah. They look and sound a lot alike, so I couldn't remember which one, but yeah.
Yeah. And so they tried to replace him with another character, and that just did not work at all. Not to mention the story arc of all the other characters was really jacked up at that point as well. So when Eric left that 70s show, that was kind of the death knell for them. I think they got like 3 more seasons out of that show.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know, because I'm not as familiar with that one, but yeah, that if it's on and I turn it on, if it's like, oh, that 70s show's on, and I see it's a post Eric episode, it's like, I'm good.
Yeah, he really made that show.
Well, he'll be back
because
in the 90s show.
in that '90s show. Yeah, apparently he's coming back for
Yeah,
cameos, and he
yeah,
is. Spoiler alert: he's married to Donna.
yeah. And I believe
Which
their daughter is the lead of
yes,
the new show.
yeah, her name is Leia. Yeah,
Oh, of course, yes.
yes, yes. So it will be interesting. I think I'll check that one out on Netflix coming up soon.
Yeah, it's in January. I forget the date, but yeah, I have to check it out. I love that '70s show, so I have to check it out. But that was a good one too. Yeah, it changed everything about it and just wasn't good after he left.
So speaking of really shitty exits, I think we have something to share with our loyal audience subscribers about a shitty exit
That is
coming up.
true. We teased at the end of last month's show that there are a lot of rumors going around. Many people are saying things about Group
Many
Chat After
people,
Dark.
many people.
Many people are saying things. I believe that we should take this time to announce that while everybody else is leaving everything, Michael and I are also leaving Group Chat After Dark.
We are going to a better group chat with one-to-one with our other friends to talk about things that are more relevant to our lives. And
Yes.
no, it's been a
This
good run
show
for
will
the
now be
pandemic.
hosted by our cousins.
Yes,
Uh,
Josh Myers.
they look somewhat like us and sound somewhat like us, but it's going to really take a hit. Kind of like when I forget their name, but the actors left the Dukes of Hazzard and then they replaced them with their cousins,
Yeah,
and just kept everything
yeah.
the same. It's going to be like that. So you can keep watching the show and listening to the show. It just won't be us. No, actually, we have Michael and I have discussed it the last several months. Actually, that this show was born out of the pandemic and lockdown.
Yeah,
We had we had ample time, even with our once a month format, and now that things are getting back to normal,
we do not
especially
have plenty of time.
I travel a lot, and it really cuts into my planning time or my time to get these edited and out. I make far more mistakes now than I did when I couldn't go anywhere, uh, as far as that stuff goes. So we've talked about it, and yeah, we're going to be officially ending Group Chat After Dark. This is it, our last episode of the year, and I won't say ever because you never say never.
No, we may bring
Uh,
it back to special editions,
yeah,
around
maybe, yeah. If there's something particularly
the world's about to
discussion
end.
worthy,
We'll come to you and talk
yeah,
about it on the internet for
yeah.
all three of you.
So if you have enjoyed Group Chat After Dark and you want to stay tuned for more potential episodes sometime in the future, keep it in your feed because it'll keep popping up. But as far as our episodes go as they are now, yeah, this is the end of our monthly episode format.
It's been a good run. It's been a
It's
good
been a good
run.
run. It is. I've told you before, and maybe even mentioned it on the podcast. Of all the episodic things we've tried to do with Ride That Dog Productions over the years, this is by far the most consistent. There's been some
Yeah,
times where we've really had to rush to get it done, but we've actually done. I mean, we've been working on this for a few years now,
yeah.
and
It's been a
we've
2-year run. Yeah, pretty
for the
good.
most part we have kept up with our schedule and put out an episode a month, and exceptions here and there, but yeah, this has been the most consistent thing, and I've enjoyed it because we get to just bullshit about stuff. Michael and I are kind of one-on-one.
Yeah,
But
and
if you have enjoyed it, we appreciate it. I don't know how many people actually have ever listened to the show, but every now and then we're surprised by the statistics. So some people somewhere are getting it and apparently continue to listen to it. So we thank you for being on this ride with us.
yeah. If you're really into old projector content, which a lot of you seem to be into that sort of thing, we can hook you up with other videos in our
Yeah,
channel.
yeah.
Um, but no, internet. I wanted to circle back to some stuff that we talked about in a couple of our very first episodes. Come full
Oh
circle
boy.
here. Um, I lose my Chick-fil-A premium member status as of December 31st because I didn't buy enough
Wow.
Chick-fil-A this year, so they're kicking me
Wow.
out of the club. Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
man.
I become a regular old plebe starting next year.
Well,
So
that fits right in with this theme of this month's show is people, leaving thing. You're leaving your status behind.
yeah, and then
Wow.
a couple weeks ago, I now am the proud owner of an Xbox Series X from
That's
like the second
true.
episode we ever did.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
we
Yeah.
we I now have one. My wife got it for me for Christmas, and Played it a few times. It's much better than the original Xbox One or 360.
He's not
whatever
supposed
it
to
is.
have it yet. It was supposed to be his Christmas gift and birthday gift, but he guessed what it was the day she picked it up. So
I did.
he got it very
So
early.
now I have it, and yes, now to give you guys a review, if you don't have one yet, you should get one. It's much
Yes.
better than the other experience.
And
So,
we're all still on Game Pass, which was another episode.
that's right. Game Pass is still going. Yeah, still playing crappy anime games.
It's a lot of those on there for you.
So it's been a good time, but fuck you, Bombas, for your lack of support and willingness to financially support this podcast. Make sure you get out and buy your scrub daddies and your scrub mommies in memory of the show.
Yes.
And as you're sticking your spoon down scrub daddy's throat, remember the two of us.
Yes. Yes. Think of us as you gag your scrub daddy with a spoon. And also remember that Scrub Daddy has never actually sponsored this show. That we've never had a sponsor for this show.
Neither did Bombas. We just turned on them.
Yeah, it was literally in the moment during an ad read. He's like, "No, forget Bombas," and he switched to Scrub Daddy, and that's been the sponsor ever since. But overall, I've enjoyed this process. It has just unfortunately become not as sustainable with as travel. I've changed jobs. I travel a lot more. The world is more open than it's been the last few years. So
none of that is true. The Rock and I connected, and we no longer want Ben to be part of this podcast. So
I am not going to be involved in chapter 1 of the new group chat after dark. So peace. I'm out.
And on that note, I'm David Pumpkins. Any questions?
And there he goes. He cut himself off before he finished saying any questions. But he was asking for questions. Again, we want to thank you for always joining us here on Group Chat After Dark, the world's most exciting podcast. And again, you never know. It might come back for some sort of holiday special or maybe a summer solstice event. You never know. Never say never with us. But this is the end of the show in its monthly episodic format. And we thank you for joining us here on Group Chat After Dark. If you want more content, you can find much less frequent content on RatherDocuProductions.com, GroupChatAfterDark.com, DukeHouston.com, ToddSucks.com. It's Todd Sux, SUCKS, and we also own Todd Sux, SUX. So you can find us there. There's a shop that you can go buy stuff that has our logos on it. There's even some Group Chat After Dark merch if you want that. So go check it all out. We'll still be making stuff, just not as frequently, and it'll be different. We'll probably go back to making videos rather than podcasts. But thank you all for joining us, and we will catch you next time, whenever that may be, on Group Chat After Dark.